Can you hear Jerusalem bells are ringing? It has nothing to do with a Coldplay reference right now. It's the Battle of the Bell, the inaugural matchup between the teams that are just down the road from each other. The long-tenured 11-man football team, the Ezell-Harding Christian School Eagles, start their 8-man football season over 2 months ago. They begun it, and what better opponent than one of the longer teams in MTAC, the Lighthouse Christian School Lions. It's the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, and we're proud to bring you the first Battle of the Bell. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Spencer Thompson. Pleasure to bring you here to Ezell-Harding Christian School. Great matchup that we have ahead for you in store. For the Eagles, they're on a roll. What else can really be said about them? With the powers of Derek Griffin and Kadarius Price, such great matchups between the two of them and their connections that they made and the rest of the star power that the Eagles have. It's just a question of, are they going to get the number 1 or number 2 seed in the South? And we'll see what happens with that in the final week where they face off against the Lancaster Christian Academy Eagles. Meanwhile, for the Lions of Lighthouse, not so hot right now. They are still looking for their first win, mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but that doesn't mean they're not going to give a tough battle here tonight, especially with a physical bell on the line. But the Lions, they, of course, are led by Aiden Hooper, a star quarterback who came from Franklin Christian several years ago. But the big question, of course, is what star power do they have to try and get a victory against the Eagles tonight? So, James, in terms of the Eagles, they've got a lot of star power for them, but a lot of people are counting the Lions out. Do the Lions have a chance against this high-powered offense?
Well, the Lions are the best 0-4 team I've ever seen, and I've seen some 0-4 teams in 6 years of doing this. They are the best 0-4 team that I've ever seen. You think about it, of course, they started practice a lot later than some of these teams. First game of the year, of course, Lancaster has been dominant all year. So, of course, you take a loss to Lancaster. Game against Bowling Green Christian comes down to the last minute. Bowling Green scores. You're still kind of getting in your groove, so they lose by a touchdown. You play South Haven Christian. They're down by a touchdown, chance to tie it, and they flub it. Couldn't finish that game. Play the Tennessee Heat 2 weeks ago. Only lose by a touchdown. So it's not like they're taking 30, 40-point losses to some of these teams. Now, granted, these close losses are very costly losses because they've come against divisional opponents. So that hurts. That stings. But you mentioned Aiden Hooper, but Dedrick McClain, Jamari Teague, who won Extreme Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, Christian Sharp, not Nick Kennard, Isaiah Mason on the defensive side of the ball. These are some guys that bring so much to the table in terms of gameplay, and they're going to lay it out on the line tonight. This game from now on and even this year, it's going to mean a lot more to all these guys, even though it's not a divisional game.
Even with the Lions being eliminated from playoff contention, they are playing for a piece of hardware tonight, and that's the physical bell that we have on our Instagram story. But in terms of the Eagles, of course, only loss they've taken is from an out-of-state opponent that they may see another matchup against them in the NHSA tournament later on this year in Panama City. But the big question, of course, for the Eagles, how seriously do you take the Lighthouse Lions in this game?
You take them extremely seriously. You do not take them lightly, and for all those reasons that I just gave you over the last 3 games, you don't underestimate anybody because, you respect all and fear none if you're Ezell. You've got to bring it to the table tonight, especially with this being homecoming. It's senior night. You're at your home field. You don't want to take these guys lightly, and not because of, what they bring to the table, but just because it's an opponent on a football field on a Friday night. You don't goof off. You don't, take stupid penalties. You don't make stupid mistakes. You play this game as if it's the state championship. You keep that mindset, and it'll continue to pay off for you.
How many more important labels can you put on this game tonight? It's the Battle of the Bell, Senior Night, Homecoming Night, Eagles-Lions next on the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week.
by Mr. Brian Swift, head of schools at Lighthouse Christian School. The colors this evening will be presented at the north end of the field by members of the Cub Scouts of Ezell-Harding's own Pack 54. The national anthem will be played by Ezell-Harding alumnus class of 1984, Chris Jocelyn.
The Battle of the Bell begins with Lighthouse kicking off for homecoming, and Lighthouse kicking off for the Eagles' homecoming game.
Wallace set to kick it away, and I'm looking forward to see if they squib it here or go deep. Ezell's moved up. They're ready for a squib. Yep.
And Lighthouse just doing their normal squib as they usually do, picked up easily by the Eagles. And again, who other than one of their star players, Cam Hunt, to get the ball and shave 6 seconds off the clock. So many stories from the Eagles and their success on the season, but one of the big names for them has been Derek Griffin, their senior quarterback, along Kadarius Price, the connected receiver. So just a lot of great stories to have with those teams.
Spencer, a lot of good games going on across the mid-state. Couple divisional matchups.
Especially one that determines is going to be a huge shaper for who's going into the North for the playoffs. As first rush, there is a flag down. So we'll get our first call from Carson Dozier.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, number 70. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
So immediately a penalty already there, and Carson Dozier, the referee for the MTAC championship last year.
Now, but up north in Springfield, you've got Bowling Green and South Haven. 20 minutes down the road, Franklin Classical Christian Community, Riverside Christian in the Heat right over in Mount Juliet, and then, of course, Lighthouse, Ezell here.
And here, a shovel pass to Kadarius Price on the right side. Kadarius Price again to the outside. The many times we've seen him make big plays in prime time.
Boy,
and a touchdown for the Eagles to start off homecoming.
That's some speed right there. He turned on the Jets. Just an absolute. You know who Migos is, right? You know who Takeoff is, right? Okay? That's Kadarius Price right now. Just got that edge right down the sideline. Didn't look back. First play of the game.
First play of the game already for the Eagles, and 6 points on the board for them.
I think they're calling it back, Spence.
During the run, block below the waist, out of the offense. There was a flag.
Wow.
No.
So immediately it looked like it was a good touchdown, but to take 6 points off the board for a block below the waist.
That's crazy. That's a big, big break for Lighthouse Christian. And I was a little suspicious because he scored, and then everybody started walking back. So I'll be interested to see how far back they're going to mark this. I'm just going to go 5 yards. So they'll still sit at 1st and 15. So 2 plays in, we're still at first down.
But they do move it back for about a 1st down and 20. And Kadarius Price, a big play just taken off of the board. Would have been about a 60-yard rushing touchdown had it not been called back. Stadium packed here for Ezell-Harding senior night.
Well, this is for sure not the last time that he's going to get that ball and he's going to get in the end zone at all.
Lucky break for the Lighthouse defense. On 1st and 20.
And another flag.
Flying again. We'll get another stoppage, and Carson Dozier getting some good mic time tonight. Having a discussion with his side official, and McGee just talking with side one there, and we'll get the call.
There is no flag on the play. No flag on the play. We'll replay the down.
I wonder what the flag was on the sideline, possibly.
Or what it was intended for.
I'm not sure what they called it there, but it's now 11:39 left to go in the first, and we've already had 3 penalties. So, again,
well,
1st and 20.
Remember, both these teams had last week off, so a little bit of rust.
A little bit of rust, but Derek Griffin weaving through to try and get something going, gets back to the line of scrimmage for 2nd and 20. Again, that senior quarterback has been a huge weapon for the Eagles and their success, and only taking one loss to the defending national champions in the based out of, I believe, Alabaster, Alabama, the Evangel Lightning. And they managed to get 55 points against them in that game we covered 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the standard has kind of been score 50 points and you'll be okay. Not so much in Alabama. It didn't really work out that way for them. So tough loss. And then being off last week due to the situation with Swanee.
So having to take off there as Griffin takes off with his pass. Left side intended for KJ Stockard, and flags thrown. Looks like they're probably going to call a pass interference or legal contact on
Spencer,
that.
can we get the replay on that? Because I almost thought they were battling for the ball.
It looked like it. It was a battle.
It bounced off the helmet of Sharp.
Battle between Stockard and Sharp. We'll show the replay after we get the call from Dozier. Get it from him in just a moment.
During the play, holding on the defense, that'll be a 10-yard penalty. And that, still 2.
Well, they're going to say that he got a hold of his jersey.
So we got the replay on that. We'll see if we can get some proof here. It looked like they were both playing for the ball. Camera angle didn't get too much of it there, but just towards the back end.
It's just enough to know that, they were doing a little jostling for the ball. And, of course, offense is going. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
And shovel pass to the right side for the Eagles. They're going to get the first down a little bit more as runner is tripped out of bounds. That is looking like they got Luke Anderson, the 22 on there. Noah Preston, the freshman, getting the big rush there out of bounds for a 1st and 10 in Lions territory.
Showing up and making it happen. Man is doing it.
You look at the Eagles, of course, they have some youth on their team. They only have about 4 seniors, but they got a lot of juniors that are going to be rising up next year and plenty of sophomores. Freshman count is at 4. So they've got a decent amount of guys to work up in the McGee system. So here's a run from Kadarius Price. Gain of about 3 yards on the play. Can't shove the pile forward. So make that a 2nd and 7.
Seeing something that Ezell has not faced this year is a dominant line player like a Dedrick McLean. They played guys like Josh Austin, who they moved more at the D end, and McLean will play some D end. But I feel like tonight they're going to put him in the middle, or they're going to put Kobe Sweat in the middle. A couple guys that have been around for a minute, and Austin's been around for a minute. But it's just the size between McLean and Austin is different. And so it's a different style of play and a different ability to really gum up the middle of that line. And it also looks like they're going with, they're going 3, and McLean is the nose. He's playing nose. Nope, Sweat's the nose, but McLean is in a 3 technique.
On 2nd and 7.
3-point stance.
Motion and direct snap. As Griffin gets to the outside. Derek Griffin, no flags on the field, a touchdown for the Eagles.
Well, just as soon as I say something about McLean, you've got Griffin getting to the outside, and McLean didn't do his job. McLean's job is to contain and push him back inside, and he got sucked into the play. Griffin's able to pop to the outside, and he's gone.
43-yard touchdown for the Eagles. And already they have got points on the board in their senior and homecoming night. A 2-point conversion attempt. The Eagles, I believe they don't have anybody to do PATs. 2-point conversion attempt.
Well, they do. It's smarter to go for 2 right now and try to build that lead up.
Especially when you've got Kadarius Price heading right to the end zone.
Exactly.
Make that an 8-0 lead already. The Eagles strike first in the Battle of the Bell. Kickoff here for the Eagles. They get a great 40-plus yard rush touchdown from their star quarterback Griffin, and onside kick attempt. Lions touch it. Do they get back to it? Looked like it came off of Andrew Wallace, and the Lions retain possession. Lucky break for them as they have positioning at the 48-yard line.
Wallace, the senior, this is his only year playing football. Really smart decision for Ezell to scout that and to know that, and so you kick it straight to him, being on an island. And so that way, you know, it's all the pressure's back on him. Now, he did a great job, and he was able to recover it. But really smart football there by Coach McGee. Let's see what Lighthouse brings to the table.
So we'll see Aiden Hooper, the sophomore quarterback who has been a big weapon for the Lions. Although they don't have any W's, they came close to having that opportunity because of Hooper among other team members.
He just motioned Teague out in the, on the wide.
He motioned sharp. Hooper looking for an option. Going to the outside, quick toss. That's to his man Teague. Teague gets the first down and a little bit more to the 35-yard line. The 2 weeks ago, the extreme player of the week, and he's showing why on the Battle of the Bell.
Well, it was a great play call, too, because if you looked, Hooper, if he didn't have, looks like Valbuena was breathing down his neck. If he didn't have him doing that, he could have gone deep to Sharp. But the smarter decision was just dump it off to Teague, let him pick up the first down, and that's what you want to do against Ezell tonight. Eat the clock, dink and dunk, and just march down the field. You know, you don't have to take a shot. Take a shot every once in a while, kind of feel out how their defense is going to play.
There's a handoff again. It's Teague. Teague gets stuffed. Loss of about 4 or 5 yards on the play, second down.
Good job for the Eagles swarming to the ball. Just, you know, it's every man to the ball until the whistle blows. Teague, a strong runner, and had a good look there, but just some quick D linemen from the Eagles able to close in on him.
A lot of other games going on tonight, at least a handful, and several of them have playoff implications. We'll get you updates for those as they come in.
Every team but Suwannee in action this week.
And all of them playing their games tonight, except for the Tennessee School for the Deaf playing yesterday and taking that tough loss to the Alabama School for the Deaf. Hooper to the right side, toss intended, almost picked off. The pass intended for Nick Kennard. It was almost an interception, and for the Eagles, it looks like Kadarius, not Kadarius Price. It looked like Jamari Liddell is a little bit shooken up on that, disappointed in himself.
Well, Liddell came down on top of Kennard. Good job from Kennard to I think he got his hand in there, kind of broke it up a little bit.
Correction, it was actually KJ Stockard on there with the
Stockard,
jersey,
okay.
Yeah, Stockard, the junior, almost had the interception there, and already we've already got a timeout on the field by the Eagles. So we had to our first timeout break. TheKingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. Let's get Jets. The Allergy Center of Franklin, visit allergyfranklin.com. And Joe Graves with I Hate Buying Insurance, visit IHateBuyingInsurance.com. So Lighthouse called the timeout, and that's 7:22. We'll have to go in the first as it's a 3rd and 15. Hooper looking for options. He's got time, plenty of time as he tosses across the left side, finds his man in Christian Sharp. Weaving through Christian Sharp, an absolute athlete, gets to about the 7-6 yard line for a big gain.
You know, you look at Aiden Hooper, you look at the quarterbacks that Ezell-Harding's played, guys like Sam Hubbard, who is a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde, Goolsby's a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. They played David Black, who had a solid game, threw a couple interceptions in the second half, and then of course the game against Alabama last week. And I'm missing a game that they've played.
You talking about the Eagles?
No, they ended up not playing Swanee. But then the game against Evangel 2 weeks ago, Tyler Henderson, really good quarterback. So they haven't faced a quarterback like Aiden Hooper. I mean, obviously other than Tyler Henderson. But Hooper brings a whole nother level to the table as he gets more comfortable with his receivers.
Here's Hooper. Trying to find some option. Gets to the outside. Trying to cut in. Gets down to about the 4-yard line. Gets out of bounds to stop the clock on a 2nd and goal. Keeping it close there, as it looks like somebody may have struck first blood in their first score, if we've got anything.
Yep. The first quarter, it's Micah Jones to Brooks Pugh. 16 yards, 2-point conversions, no good. Colts lead the night 6-0.
Anytime the Colts and the Classical Knights face off, they always keep it close. Not as low scoring last year, but I believe it ended 22-0. The Colts got the W, as opposed to the Freedom Cowboys. I believe it was a 16-0. Colts still got the win, but Classical always keeps it close. And ball was loose. Hooper managed to fall back on it, so 3rd down and goal, loss of about a few yards.
Hooper on the keeper, and I don't know what happened. Maybe just slipped out of his hands, but couldn't hold on to it. It's unfortunate.
And again, we mentioned we'll get you scoring updates from the rest of the games around the league. You could also follow that on the Tennessee High School football app. One of the other big games tonight is between Bowling Green and South Haven. That's a huge determining match for who's going to get into the playoffs. Which I believe if South Haven gets that W, they clinch a playoff berth. Bowling Green wins, that changes everything. Changes the game entirely. 3rd and goal. Hooper, pressured by the defense, gets brought down.
Let's see who got in there.
That's Kane Braden, the junior, getting the tackle. Kane Braden leading the charge on that for the defense.
A little extra pressure in there. Hooper, his receivers didn't have as much room to move around. After he rolled to the right, no one was open, and Ezell was already closing in on him. It was just a bad situation.
And Lighthouse doesn't have anybody to kick field goals, so they're going to go for it. It's 4th and goal on the 12-yard line. So we'll see if Hooper's going to just lob it up in the end zone or if he's going to try to give it to his man Sharp. Might even see Hooper use his leg work.
I say you give it to Teague here. Let him pound the football. It's 4th down. It's not going to hurt. You just take either that or he's going to take a shot to Kennard there wide to the right on his own. And we're going to get a delay of game, Spence.
Flags fly.
Before the snap, delay a game on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
So they move it back again.
I think that actually works out for Lighthouse, Spence. It gives them just a little more room, gives the receivers more room to move around. When you get down there in a goal line situation, you only have so many routes you can run, and the depth is different too.
So Hooper looking for options, scrambled. He's got pressure again, and Kane Braden getting the big tackle. 2 defensive stands in a row from Kane Braden and a big one on turnover on downs.
Well, there's a fine line between when you find something that works, use it, and then at some point you've got to quit bootlegging your right-handed quarterback out to the left and expecting him to try to be able to throw across it. The dude's not Patrick Mahomes. I love the dude. He's a great player. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
Put your players in a situation where they're going to succeed.
But that drive, as much as Lighthouse needed to score there, just to keep it even keel, as much as they needed to, that drive proved that Lighthouse can move the ball on Ezell. Contrary to what some people think, everybody thought, oh, it's going to be bad. Well, whatever. But they can move the ball on them. They have playmakers.
So now the Eagles get their second offensive drive of the game. There's Price looking for options. He's going to take it to the left again.
Looks like it's Griffin.
Griffin tripped up on his feet at about the 36-yard line. Gain of 7 yards of the play for 2nd and 3.
Little QB on QB action there. Hooper playing linebacker or DB. but able to get in there and shut him down after a short gain. When I say short gain, I mean it's still only 2nd and 3. So good job by Griffin. Griffin's done a great job so far this year of improvising. Hooper, if he runs, it's more of like a designed run. Griffin, he has designed runs, but the majority of them are, okay, well, I need to improvise. Something Marcus Mariota could pick up on.
Maybe Mariota's watching this on the road back from Jacksonville as Griffin airs it out to the right side, and he's caught by his receiver, and he's not going to be stopped. Touchdown for the Eagles. Jamari Liddell with the reception.
High steps it in to beat the DB. And did you see Griffin there? Our replay is going to show it. Griffin had McLean breathing down his neck, and he just stepped up right in the face and nailed Liddell with a beautiful over-the-shoulder pass.
Tiptoe to avoid the tackle, too.
Liddell did a good job. That's where the high knees comes into effect, and you have to use those. Everybody asks, well, why am I doing this? Well, that's why, right there.
Go. Again, we apologize for the silhouette being shown on the camera view there. Of course,
Spencer's ugly silhouette.
Great setup here, of course, at the Ezell-Harding.
I love it, except for the windows don't open.
If the windows open, then we would be good, but we got a penalty.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, number 17.
There is a penalty on the
Somebody moved.
Obviously.
Move it back 5 yards, give him a little more space.
Bit more of a chance for Lighthouse to make some sort of defensive stop here and keep it at 14-0. I mean, it's still a 2-possession game, but for Lighthouse, you want to get every break you can get, especially against the Eagles.
Waiting to get updates on this Riverside Heat game, Bowling Green, South Haven, as well as Lancaster Franklin Christian, which will start in a few minutes.
And Kadarius Price receives the shovel pass, and the 2-point conversion is good. Eagles lead 16-0 in the Battle of the Bell. Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored. Just pulling it up here. Sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Minor Homes. Visit chuckminorhomes.com for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And by Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister. Safety for your family.
Onside recovered by Lighthouse there.
Yeah, Lighthouse just got an easy recovery here, and like we've said, it's the Battle of the Bell. How about the Ezell Eagles going all out and getting this bell made to swap in between the schools, depending on who has the victory? So it looks like this, you talk about with the conference tiebreakers on rivalry games, this is probably going to be their tiebreaker for years to come.
Oh, it has to. I mean, this is a built-in, just fun atmosphere, fun game. But you look at that kickoff, and, they went onside, tried to get the ball back, but it backfired on them. Lighthouse is going to start with the ball in their end.
Same place that they started their first offensive drive, and it's a shovel pass forward. It's over to Teague. Gets just short of the line to gain for 2nd and 1.
Spencer, how about this? 11-11 left in the second quarter. Sam Hubbard, touchdown pass to Clay. It's 6-6. Niners are tied with the Colts.
Might see their 3rd win of the season. If they could still hang with the Colts, it's a little bit early to call.
It's very early there, Spence. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves there.
Hey, I mean, you heard it from Coach Herrera on Sunday. They're trying to get in the right mentality and just go one game at a time. Scramble by Hooper. Hooper has got a little bit of open space. Right side, he's going to his man Sharp, and the catch is made. Can he get in? Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Touchdown for the Lions.
Christian Sharp brings another element to this offense. He is a playmaker, and you see Hooper. These are the kind of plays you want him to run, where it's a bootleg, but use his momentum, let him be able to use his arm, and he just gets everything behind that, slings it 40 yards down the field. Great touchdown there for Lighthouse. They needed that.
Needed that to make a statement early on, especially with it only being in the first quarter. And like you said in our pregame talks, you know, they've lost several games and against in-division opponents, but they've been very close games. We might just see one here. 2-point conversion attempt for the Lions. We got Teague and Sharp to the sides of Hooper. Hooper looking for the option. Teague coverage and out of bounds. He made the catch, but out of bounds. 10-point game. The Lions respond and get a touchdown on the board, but the Eagles still lead by 10. .221 left to go in the first, and another squib kick. The Eagles fall on it, even though it deflects off of one of their players, and the Eagles will have great field advantage. That's just been the name of the game thus far. Both teams have been starting out with great offensive field advantages. Neither of them have kicked it deep to try and make them drive down the field.
Boy, Lighthouse got close to getting that ball, though. They were right on top of it, and great job.
Making sure to
Great job wrapping that ball up. Sorry.
So now the Eagles on another offensive drive. This is only their third, but they've scored on 2. Here's a handoff up the middle. And who else but Kadarius Price to take it up the middle there with the handoff from Griffin, and another first down over to the 40-yard line.
Got to be careful that there's no jaw jacking. That's something you got to worry about in a game like this. Yeah, he's got to be calming him down there.
Officials just having a discussion, and they goes off to the bench. Jared Campbell just heading off to the bench. Preventative officiating is
exactly.
That run was good for Ezell-Harding in the first down.
So 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line. Here's another run up the middle. Griffin weaves through the defense, heading all the way. Touchdown.
Derek Griffin using those legs. This might be a shootout here, Spence.
About a 41-yard rushing touchdown for Griffin, and just showing why he's one of the stars for the Eagles.
Well, this was a designed run, and the blocking was set up so that you can move McLean and move Sweat out of the way and be able to get Griffin up the middle. Great execution on the play call.
Very quick response by the Eagles to that first score, so we won't have a shutout here in Antioch, but could very well have a one-sided game if the Lions are not careful. 2-point conversion attempt through the middle is Price, and 2-point conversion is good. 24-6 already. The Eagles leading over the Lions. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by International Fire Protection Incorporated. Life safety is our business.
Yes, sir.
Grow, Live, Give. Visit growlivegive.com. Star Physical Therapy, your health, our hands, choose Star. And by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. .134 left to go in the first. Another onside kick attempt and easily fallen on by Lighthouse's Andrew Wallace. He's no stranger to the onside kick game now, that's for sure.
Well, between him executing them and then them targeting him, he's going to touch that ball a lot more tonight than he would maybe if he was a running back or a lineman. Or a wide receiver, rather.
And again, it's interesting. You wonder why every kick has either been a squib kick or an onside kick for both of these teams, because it seems like you're just giving them great field advantage and putting them into position to get marched down the field, and not as much as they would have to if they just booted it deep.
Well, I mean, you also have to look at the returners each side has. You know, Cam Hunt for Ezell, Christian Sharp for Lighthouse, two super dangerous players. So they're trying to avoid that.
Hooper under pressure. Trying to get to the right. Hooper is going to get the first down and more, headed to the right side. Ball pops out at about the 20, looks like about the 24-yard line is where they're going to spot it, but a big run by Aiden Hooper. And just, we can't say it enough, there's so many reasons why Aiden Hooper is keeping Lighthouse in games, and it's moves like that that can help him down the stretch.
Well, and Hooper's going to bring that option to the table where when he's running like that, Ezell's already conditioned to, when he pulls that arm back, they're already thinking, hold up, and then he's going to tuck it and go. So on that play, he's got 20 yards to run, but even after being past the line of scrimmage, he can still cock his arm. Defense isn't going to pay attention to the line of scrimmage. His instinct is, hold up, we got to stop the pass, so they can still get it away.
Knocking on the door of the red zone. Hooper, right side intended. The catch is almost made.
Boy.
Almost made by Lighthouse's Adam Blevins. Almost got the reception there. 52 seconds left in the first quarter.
Blevins has been a target of Hooper several times this season. And Spencer, not sure what the problem was, but we do have an update from Mount Juliet, rather. 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Riverside leads the Heat 28-7.
Riverside possibly going away with that game. That was a game that we originally thought was going to be the MTAG Bowl game last year. It was looking like it was going to be a matchup, and Lighthouse was going to be in the postseason. But, of course, all the things that occurred and everything. So they got to face off against each other. Not only that, but we also made the suggestion of why not cancel that game since they're about to face each other in the bowl 2 weeks later. But Hooper, left side, he's weaving past, cuts back across the middle. Hooper gets down at about the 10-yard line for first to goal.
Well, for Hooper being a young quarterback as a sophomore, he's going to want to learn that fine line between I want to be a playmaker for my team and also, hey, guess what? I'm still the team's quarterback. They need me next week and the week after that. So he's got to be able to play smart and know that make a decision, make a business decision. And also, wouldn't hurt for him to learn how to slide a little bit here or there. You can't always dive forward.
Word is that Hooper may be playing baseball for Lighthouse, so he may take the lesson there and bring it into his junior year. But the business decision right now for them is to end the first quarter without getting another playoff. After 12 minutes, it's 24-6. The Eagles are leading over the Lions in the inaugural Battle of the Bell on the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Start of the second quarter in the Battle of the Bell. Eagles 24-6 as Hooper takes a high snap, but still trying to make something of nothing. Toss across incomplete, intended for Blevins.
Fired just high. The whole play was kind of rushed. And so he wasn't able to settle down and settle into a rhythm like he has been. So, of course, the throw was off by quite a bit.
Spencer Thompson, James Shannon bringing you the action here from Antioch at Ezell-Harding Christian School in Antioch, Tennessee. The Lions only having to travel just shortly down the road.
About 10 minutes with traffic.
10 minutes. The traffic in Antioch and Brentwood on a Friday night, no matter what weekend it is.
How about the traffic in, like, Nashville proper?
It's getting crazy at this point with about 200 people moving in every day.
It's crazy. I thought it was 80. I think it's closer to 80. I think
No,
200 is very unrealistic.
Nashville was 150 to 200 per day as tossed to the end zone.
He got that.
Nice reception and touchdown for the Lions.
What a catch.
Now, we don't have the angle to reverse that, of course, but big play for the Lions, and they're making statements early on.
All right, guess what? We've still got the replay. You're going to look in the top corner, top left corner right now. What a catch.
Just trying to see who made the catch on that.
He mossed him, Spence.
I was trying to see who made the catch on that for the Lions.
Let's watch that replay one more time.
Seeing who was it?
Number
that was
5,
Sharp.
Christian Sharp.
That was Sharp.
Boy, old Sharp coming up 2 touchdowns so far in the ball game. Everybody else needs to get on the same page because he's really putting out for his team tonight.
And Christian Sharp, of course, still playing for the Lions. His father was the head coach for Lighthouse Christian School last year. I believe moved on to Ensworth as a athletic trainer or something along those lines. Toss in. Teague gets the catch, and it's good.
He got it.
Make that a 24-14 game. Still within 10. The Lions keep pushing back here in Ezell's homecoming night. Just 15 seconds shaved off of the second quarter, and the Lions get 2 plays off, and another onside kick quickly picked up by the freshman Luke Anderson.
Well, these teams aren't going to have more than maybe a 50-yard drive, and we've had a whole bunch of 40-yard touchdowns so far, and it's just because of the short field. You know, these teams are taking shots at each other. Sharp had a big touchdown catch. Ezell has had just, play after play after play. And it's all because of situations like this. No one's kicking the ball deep, so you're really only working on half the field.
It's good. And a timeout called.
Timeout, Ezell-Harding. That was their first charge timeout.
Ezell gets their first timeout charged, and 11:42 left in the second. TheKingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. Let's get Jets. The Allergy Center of Franklin. Visit allergyfranklin.com. And by Joe Graves with I Hate Buying Insurance. Visit IHateBuyingInsurance.com. We got a big update and another divisional matchup that will give Lancaster Christian an official playoff berth for the South. Doesn't guarantee if they're number 1 or number 2 seed, because that's going to be their matchup at home against the Eagles. Deep toss right side. Completion made to Kadarius Price all the way for a touchdown.
It's a big play. Both these teams are taking shots at each other. I mean, when I say shots, I mean shots. Griffin showing off his arm tonight. Really Griffin and Hooper both, but, I mean, that's a 40-yard throw on the money, on the back shoulder of Price. And Price does the rest to get into the end zone. Quick update from Smyrna. Game just started there at 7:30. Deuce Bragg to Devin Hargrove for 48 yards, rather. 2-point conversion's good. Knights lead the Falcons 8-0.
Only an 8-0 lead for Lancaster. They start their games at 7:30 on the dot.
At home.
Whenever it's at home. Of course, 2-point conversion attempt. It's incomplete and no good. 30-14, a 16-point lead for the Eagles over the Lions. So we're going to take another break here. Another kickoff. If I were a gambling man, I'd say it was an onside kick before that even went off. But Lighthouse gets it at about the 44-yard line, picked up by Andrew Wallace again. And just another offensive drive starting from past the 40-yard line for the Lions. Another defensive stand starting from the 40-yard line of their opponent's territory. Another one there.
You know who's not making a defensive stand? That's FCA. Jordan Horde, 23-yard touchdown run. 2-point conversion's good. 6 minutes to go in the first. Lancaster leads FCA 16-0.
That game is probably going to get out of hand, and Lancaster is going to clinch a playoff berth for the second year in a row. Only their second year in 8-man football.
Pretty successful move if you ask them.
And a successful move attempted here by Jamari Teague, but gets called for forward progress for a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8.
How about an update from Riverside? Michael Black to David Black to Michael Black. The dark connection, 34 yards, 2-point conversion is no good. But the Knights lead the Heat 34-7. 4 minutes left in the second quarter.
Getting close to mercy rule territory in that game if Riverside can pull it out. And Riverside likely they are going to get into the MTAC playoffs. I believe officially with a loss. With Franklin Christian losing tonight, Lancaster and Riverside clinched their playoff berths, and I believe Ezell-Harding. If we look at our helmet schedule here, with the Eagles already taking 3 victories in the South. Yeah, looks like that'd be it. With if FCA takes a loss here against. The FCA takes a loss against Lancaster, it's official who's going to be in the playoffs for the South. It'll be Ezell, Lancaster, and Riverside. So congratulations to those teams if it stands in Smyrna. 3rd down. Hooper slips but gets the ball immediately back. Big reaction there by Alex Valbuena to make sure that he was down by contact. So now 4th down and likely the punt team coming out for the Eagles.
Valbuena's been all over the place tonight, just pressuring Hooper. And Hooper might have been able to get up and get that, keep going. But Valbuena right on top of the play. Great job to get that, to shut that play down right there, force him into a long 4th down.
Long 4th down. It doesn't look like they're going to send the punt team out on the 37-yard line.
No, you got to go for it here. You got to take your risks.
We'll see if Hooper can get the 4th down conversion. Hooper, he's got pressure. Deep toss right side intended for Sharp. Intercepted. Big interception by Andrew Webster and gets down to about the 47-yard line.
Good job for the senior to get up and get the ball. But there's a flag on the backside. Going to get a roughing the passer.
During the play, roughing the passer on the defense.
Against Ezell-Harding.
Roughing the passer on the defense. That'll be a 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's a massive break. That's a massive break for Lighthouse. I mean, that's a whole new set of downs. Update from White House. Micah Jones, 10-yard touchdown run. 2-point conversion is good. Colts lead the Knights 20-6.
New life sprung for the Lions as they are in Eagles territory on that roughing the passer. So now 1st and 10. We'll see if Hooper can get anything going with two receivers on the left. Hooper trying to orchestrate the play.
He's very active in terms of play calling, changing up the calls, commanding that offense.
The commander, left side, looking for something. Quick toss, intended for Sharp and picked off again. Jamari Liddell to the left side. He's still on his feet. Jamari Liddell trying to get past the defense. Finally brought down at about the 35-yard line, and just an unfortunate play for the Lions. They had new life on there, and Hooper threw an interception.
Well, pull up the replay, Spence. You're going to see Hooper directing traffic. And he told Sharp to keep going to the sidelines, expecting him to go. Sharp stays where he is. Instead, Liddell comes across, and he's there where Sharp should have been. Big interception for Ezell. They can really pull away right here.
Ezell trying to get another touchdown on the board, and on the 36-yard line they're in. Very great field positioning to do just that. Leading by 16. First and 10 for the Eagles. Griffin in trouble. Looking for something to do. He's going to just rush it to the right side. Hooper trying to go past him. Jukes out several of the Lions defenders. How about another? Griffin to the end zone. Touchdown.
What a run by Griffin. That's a playmaker right there. That's a guy in his senior year on senior night, homecoming, rivalry game. You throw it all in there. That's a guy who was determined to not give up. I mean, he was shut down right there. 3 guys within 5 yards. 1, 2, 3. Makes them all miss. Makes another man miss. It beats the fifth into the end zone. What a play.
What was a 16-point lead is now a 22-point lead. Chance to make it 24. And on homecoming and senior night for the Eagles, looks like they're going to take the first W in the Battle of the Bell. Really early, of course, but see if they can do anything. Shovel pass, Price in. 2-point conversion, good. 38-14, thekingdom.com. Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Miner Homes. Visit chuckminerhomes.com for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And by Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister, safety for your family. I said this on the last drive, but if I were a gambling man, would have bet that it was going to be an onside kick or squib kick.
Great return there for
looks like for the Lions, they have 84, which we actually don't have his number on the roster.
We finally, for Lighthouse?
Yeah, for Lighthouse, we don't have 84.
Well, we finally got somebody at the Bowling Green-South Haven game. In the second quarter, South Haven leads Bowling Green 28-6.
Looks like South Haven is going to punch their ticket into the playoffs.
Timeout, Lighthouse. Can charge timeout.
Lighthouse already calls a timeout, so it's a perfect time for us to talk about some of the scoring updates. But, the way the playoffs are shaping right now, obviously Christian Community clinched first seed in the North, first seed in the South. That's not going to be clinched until the final week as the way things are going. But looks like second seed – probably South Haven, because I think that's their last North game if we look here at the –
No, they still got the Heat to play.
They got the Tennessee Heat, and with the Heat beating Bowling Green at this point, that South Haven Heat game, that's going to be for hosting a playoff game.
Well, the Heat and Bowling Green haven't played. That's next Saturday night, which – will we be there?
You can't reveal stuff until Sunday?
We're going to be there.
Well, I mean, is that the only Saturday game that day? I think.
Well, other than the Tennessee School for the Deaf game at 3 Eastern, 2 Central. But
yeah, it's the only Saturday
we're not
game,
going to make
so
that.
It's fair for us.
We will have updates from that. But, of course, next Saturday night, hey, that's pretty much the last playoff game needed for the North. It's really winner is in. Essentially.
Yeah, for
unless the Heat.
You're talking about Bowling Green Heat, right?
Right. Unless
that's true.
Well, yeah, unless the Heat beat South Haven, which South Haven's dominating Bowling Green right now. But unless that's the case.
Well, actually, in terms of a playoff berth, yes, but in terms of who gets to host a playoff game, that's likely not going to be until Tennessee Heat South Haven in the next week. If Tennessee Heat managed to punch their ticket in. Of course, if the Heat lose to Bowling Green, that opens up a whole bunch of different things.
No kidding.
Depends on how our favorite coin toss method plays out, or the rivalry game, depending on what that is.
No coin toss.
Let's hope not.
Not for a while.
Let's hope not. But 1st and 10 on the 43-yard line. Lighthouse trying to get something going. There's a handoff, and for Lighthouse, it was Sharp just at QB position, handed it off to Teague.
A little bit of a wildcat there. Great job, though. Reed Steinley, the sophomore, able to get in there and make the tackle.
So I guess Hooper is sitting on the bench right now, so I guess they're maybe giving him a chance to rest after that play. Maybe he got shooken up when he collided with one of his teammates.
He may have.
Who just taking a break on the sideline, hoping everything's okay with Hooper. And now 2nd and 12. Sharp taking the direct snap is stuffed at about the 48-yard line, loss of several more yards, 3rd down.
The running game is not going to work out very well for Lighthouse against this Ezell defense. You've got to continue to air that ball out. And unless they keep doing that, they're going to struggle.
But, of course, the question is for Sharp, can he toss the ball? Either that or can you trust one of your other teammates who can actually toss the ball and be a decent quarterback? Because we haven't seen anybody else at the quarterback position other than Hooper for Lighthouse this season.
Well, and with good reason, too. You know, Hooper's been the man.
But now that he's just looks like he's standing up and walking around, so likely he's ready to go. Just talking to Hollis. And on 3rd down, and it looks like we got another flag.
Before the snap, delay a game on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
Again, just another penalty. Just more flags flying.
A lot of standing around there before the play. You got to wonder if that's the suspect for the penalty.
3rd down.
It's getting ugly in Smyrna, Spence.
We'll get that in a second as Sharp is stuffed at about the line of scrimmage, so 4th down, and probably won't send out the punt team with how close this game is, but there's a game that's not close over in Smyrna.
You ain't kidding. First quarter, I believe it's still the first quarter. Deuce Bragg, T.J. Robbins, 55 yards. Lighthouse leads Franklin Christian 24-0. And, of course, if you want all the final scores, just head to our social media Friday night. Once everything settles down, all the games are go final, we'll get a post out and get you all the final scores.
So with a loss,
Hooper's back on the field for 4th down.
So with a loss tonight from Franklin Christian, assuming that game goes the way it goes, they still have Ezell-Harding and Classical. So, I mean, they could feasibly go 2-3 as it's punted away, and they'd have a slight chance, but the likely result is going to be a playoff berth for Ezell, Lancaster, and Riverside Christian.
Well, they got about a 15-yard punt.
Got a little bit of distance on it. We got about 5:37 left to go before halftime. Coming up on
better not be sarcastic saying distance.
Coming up on the Star Physical Therapy halftime report, we'll of course go over our analysis of the first half, what we've seen, and we've got a special giveaway announcement that we will have a special guest on air to talk about that, and you won't want to miss it. So stick around at halftime for that special giveaway announcement. 5:37.
Lighthouse, they've got to take a timeout here.
Believe that's
trying to rush players on the field.
And sorry, James, I think that's their final timeout of the half.
Maybe.
Snap, timeout, Lighthouse. That is their last timeout.
No.
Right on that.
You called that one right. Hey, sometimes we go right down the middle, 50-50.
Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by International Fire Protection Incorporated. Life safety is our business. And in the words of James, yes, sir. Grow, Live,
Yes, sir.
Give. Visit growlivegive.com. Star Physical Therapy, your health, our hands. Choose Star, and by kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. .537 left to go before halftime. 38-14, the Eagles leading as it's shovel pass to the left side to Noah Preston. Gain of about a yard on the play for 2nd and 9.
Great job by Lighthouse getting there, shutting that run down. And right now you've got to get the ball back if you're Lighthouse. You get the ball after halftime, so you get the ball back, maybe even score.
We got some dirty laundry on the field. We'll get the call. Just waiting on ruling. Didn't get the penalty from the official. Looked like it may have muted his mic by accident, but waiting for the report from Carson Dozier, and I believe he did announce it and thought his microphone was on. So we just continue on with the game. Didn't get the penalty. So they move it up for 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line. Here's to the right side, Price. Kadarius Price getting to the outside. He's being chased down by Kennard. Gets to the end zone. Another touchdown for the Eagles.
Ezell, just a constant push.
But there is a flag in the backfield. There's some dirty laundry. Carson Dozier will get the call from him again.
During the run, hold on the offense, number 9.
So they move it back. That's against Andrew Webster. So they move it back. It looked like it was going to be a touchdown for Price, but that's the second time tonight that the Eagles have had a touchdown wiped off of the board because of an offensive penalty, and that could come back to bite them if they don't get that straightened out going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you play someone who is, really going to give you a threat, and those will come back to eat you alive. You have to keep those under control. They took a lot of penalties against Riverside, took some penalties against Evangel a few weeks ago. They've got to get it under control.
Keeping it interesting here. So make that a 1st down and about 17, it looks like. Maybe about 1st down and 15. Clock continues to run. Griffin takes it directly, going to the right side. Griffin gets to the outside, going to the end zone, and touchdown. No flags on the field this time. So another 6 points on the board for the Eagles, and that
Spencer,
score
I was
is
about
correct.
to say, I was about to say we need to edit the score on the broadcast, but
Now it's
never mind, Chief.
But as you can see from this run, just Griffin doing what he does best. Just getting to the outside and getting a good rush in there. And
Well, I believe it was another design run. Can we see that replay one more time?
you say we, you mean you. Everybody else watched it.
I think it was design play. Well, I'm saying us as an audience. Yeah, see a design run. It was an option. And he just chose to keep it. Good decision.
And Coach McGee just having a discussion with Dozier, just trying to discuss about what their options are, potentially something about the potential penalty on there, but 2-point conversion attempt coming up. Probably won't get anything changed from this. And looking at what McGee is doing on the other side here. So it looks like something in the end zone. Not sure what he's got in his hand there, but must be something that was detrimental to the play.
Let's see if we can get a shot of it as he comes back into frame.
You know what that is?
He might have tossed it away.
May have just been something that could have been detrimental to the play or dangerous for one of the players. Who knows? But 2-point conversion attempt coming up for the Eagles. Price gets through the defense again. Another 2 points on the board. 32-point lead for the Eagles in the Battle of the Bell over the Lions. They've still got about 4:37 left to go in the first half. .437 left to go before the end of the first half in the inaugural Battle of the Bell. It's a really beautiful bell. We got to see it up close.
You and your crush on that bell.
Hey, man, you took a picture and had
Took
emojis.
a picture, it'll last longer.
Yeah. Yeah, you took a picture for social media, and the caption you put for the emojis was the hearts and the eyes. So I think, if anything, you're in love with the bell.
Surprised if that bell doesn't make its way to Franklin with you.
I wouldn't be surprised if it made it back to Springfield with you. You're the one who put the heart emojis on it.
Well, yeah, but not enough to where I'm going to go on and on and on. It's a nice bell. I said my piece. Boom, done.
Anyway, you were also critiquing me for the caption I put on my Instagram story for
Well,
it.
it was
You
lame.
said this is
It was
the caption.
lame. It was lame.
4:35 left.
We
to
really
go before
do.
the end
We
of the
really
first
do
half.
like each other. We are friends.
You thought we were friends?
Well, we do football games and eat Waffle House together. What other definition do you need?
Yeah. You'd call my bluff on that.
Exactly.
So the Lions trying to get another score before the halftime break. They've got plenty of time to do it, but does Hooper have enough time to get this pass off? And he does, but it's over there and incomplete.
Just couldn't get Kennard. Hooper running for his life on that play.
Kennard, the intended receiver, one of the senior weapons for the Lions. You know, one of the interesting things for both of these teams, the Eagles only have 4 seniors. Lighthouse, they only have 4 seniors. Right? Yeah, both teams only have 4 seniors.
Well, that was very anticlimactic.
Yeah, both teams, they only have 4 seniors at the helm. The good news about both the Lions and the Eagles is that they're very youthful. Even though the numbers are a little bit more for the Eagles, both teams, they've got a lot of youth to look forward to, at least for next year and even 2 years down the road.
There's a lot here of that here in the league. A lot of good young players coming up.
A lot of the star-powered seniors that graduated from the previous years, at least in the last 5 years, the senior classes have been fantastic in their skill. As Hooper is just going to keep it to the right, and it's brought down at about the 45-yard line for 3rd and 5.
Good run there by Hooper. Spencer, let's get some quick scoring updates. Second quarter, Lancaster Christian leads Franklin Christian 32-0. At the half, Christian Community 20, Franklin Classical 6. Also at the half, South Haven Christian 34, Bowling Green 6. And also at halftime, Riverside Christian 40, Tennessee Heat 7. Some very lopsided games. across the league tonight. You're just going to have weeks like that where games are just kind of lopsided. It has to happen.
Ours is the closest one of anybody broadcast. I mean, the Christian Community one is fairly close within 14
Well, that's the
points.
closest.
That's the closest.
That's
We're
the
the
closest
second
game.
closest at the moment.
Let's see, that's 32 points. That's 28 for South Haven Bowling Green, 33.
Regardless, it's a great game for us to be calling here in Antioch. It's Hooper. He's got pressure, right side, incomplete.
Batted away.
It's a good defensive move by the Eagles as they had a 4th down and 5.
Big 4th down for Lighthouse here. You got to convert it. 3:16 to go in the first half. Again, I said it before, I'll say it again. You want to score here. You get the ball after halftime. You want to put the ball in.
So on 4th and 5, you mentioned, you want to try and get something going here. On 4th and 5, you give it to Teague again, or you try to trust Sharp?
No, you got to take a shot. Your passing game's worked all night. You have to be able to take a shot with Hooper, but put him in a position. I mean, it's already hard. You're on the right hash, so he's going to have to roll on a bootleg. He's going to have to roll to his opposite side. But they could try to go to Kennard here on the left by himself.
Hooper just tried to stay calm but saw the pressure coming. Staying on his feet and, well, goes down and Dozier throws a flag. I think they'll probably call this intentional grounding. Flag thrown by Dozier and just checking with his officials to make sure he's correct in the flag. Because I believe that's the rule interpretation with the referee. You have to check, but we'll get the call.
During the play, intentional grounding, number 9, that penalty is declined. The ball goes over on downs.
Against the Lions.
That's the interesting question for the intentional grounding. I believe it's already a loss of down on the 15-yard penalty, and it turns over on down, so why would you decline it on that situation?
Your field position, Spence.
That's an interesting question.
Always got to look at field position.
But regardless, it's a turnover on downs on the 46-yard line. Now 1st and 10. So about 3:10 left to go in the half as the Eagles are going to try to punch something in here. Flag thrown. Looks like a dead ball. Immediately stop the play. Looks like it'll be a false start.
Before the snap, equipment violation, number 5 on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Replay the down.
So an equipment violation instead. And 1st and 15, so they move it back. That's why it was a dead ball penalty.
Keep your mouth guard in your mouth.
I don't even know if it was a mouth guard. It may have been something else.
Well, then that's just a good rule of thumb to live by.
Looked like they may have called it on, I think it was 17 Klingenberg. I believe was the one called for that.
Klingenberg. That's a great name. You got to love it.
So 1st and 15. The handoff on the left side. It's Braxton Coleman to the outside and another 6 points on the board. No flags. Touchdown, Ezell.
It's a big run. Big 50-yard touchdown run, and that will pretty much put the nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin for the mercy rule to start being enforced after the first half. But big run on the left side, and Braxton Coleman, the junior, he's got another school year in him to try and lead the Eagles.
Crazy.
Try and lead the Eagles to another playoff push next year, but who knows how this season is going to end for the Eagles. Pretty sure you ask anybody on the Eagles organization, 8-man football was the best move they ever made. At least at this point, they're joyous about it.
Oh, boy.
Your favorite thing, James?
Oh, boy.
Camera position.
All right.
James Shannon's favorite thing ever.
Got to get it framed just right. Oh, come on.
Flag. You got it framed, but It's a penalty.
Before the snap, delay a game on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
Okay, so now we get to see if he can just move it back 5 yards and take a shot.
And they haven't done that rule, of course, in high school where the extra point was moved back to the 15-yard line. So they're going to
Get spotted at the 10-yard, 15-yard line.
They're going to trust Stymley.
25-yard kick.
Griffin to hold, and
Oh, that's gorgeous.
was it through the uprights?
Yep.
Waiting on the call. It's good.
It's good.
So make that 53-14.
What a beautiful kick.
Almost a 40-point lead, and the Eagles lead by 39. .254 left to go in the first half, and another onside kick. The ball loose, and the Eagles fall on it. The first successful onside kick of the game. And apparently, according to the press box, the first successful onside kick all year for the Eagles. So a big move by the Eagles as the Lions down by 39. They're taking it hard here.
Boy, they got all of that one right at the feet of the Lighthouse player, and he just couldn't haul it in. The boys were already on top of him.
Now
Tonight, the way Ezell-Harding is playing, except for some of the penalties, it's like a filet mignon with all the fixing. It's a complete game.
Okay, I get you want a steak after this, but that was the worst segue I've ever heard of. I know you tried to fit plenty of phrases in, but that was something. Right side, just wide open. Derek Griffin gets to the end zone touchdown, and the frustration continues for Lighthouse.
Well, if you're Lancaster, I know you're playing a game right now, but you better start game planning for these kind of plays, because if not, Ezell's going to gash them open. They can pass the ball, they can throw it. They proved that in the first half and the first quarter. But right there, just a design run. Lighthouse is getting tired, and Griffin just straight up the middle, 50-yard touchdown run. Okay, here we go.
So apparently the mercy rule is already running at the start of the first half. They're keeping the they actually stopped it there at 1:36, but it was running.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here
we go, Spence.
We'll see if Reed Stymley can kick it into the uprights again, and
oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. That was beautiful.
That
kind of makes up for all these little onside kicks.
That's a 60-14 score, a minute 36, and just the frustration continuing for Lighthouse. They're still searching for their first win on the year. And another onside kick attempt and flags thrown. And probably they won't. This is one of the situations they won't report the penalty, because when it comes to kickoffs, unless it's the side judge reported it, false start. And
they make 2 extra points, have a successful onside kick, and get so excited that they get a false start.
So about a minute 35. And Just one of these situations where this is the 1 week of the season where you have the powerhouse teams in MTAC facing off against the teams who can put up some decent points and decent numbers, but it's just that Ezell is a whole nother level. High up kick, muffed by Emmanuel Noe, the junior, and gets it back at about the 37-yard line.
We got a kickoff in the air. This game keeps getting better.
First time tonight.
Game keeps getting better.
So about a minute 31 left to go before halftime. Again, coming up in the Star Physical Therapy halftime report, we'll give you our analysis of the first half. We've got a special giveaway announcement that you definitely won't want to miss. It's all coming up on the Star Physical Therapy halftime report. Just a minute 31 left.
Don't care if I turn that on or you want to back off? Either way is fine. Yeah, we're good. I didn't need my eyes. Of course, 3 other games happening across the mid-state at the half right now.
And Hooper scrambles, brought down by the Ezell defense, and that's Braxton Coleman again bringing him down. It's just the several names that we've been calling tonight for the Eagles. They've been showing up on both sides of the ball.
Hey, guess what happened in the Lancaster game? Deuce backdoor touchdown.
Yep. That doesn't surprise me at all.
This time he hit more. Extra point was good. 6 minutes to go in the second half. Lancaster leads Franklin Christian 40-0.
About 30 seconds left and winding down here in Antioch. Just about 27 seconds left in the half. About second down and 15. Maybe Lighthouse will get off one more play here, but more than likely they're just wanting to get to the locker room and reevaluate. The mercy rule is going to start running at the start of the second half. It's up to Lighthouse to change that as a shovel pass over to Teague. Gets brought down. Gain of about 11 yards on the play, maybe 10 for third down. And that's going to be the end of the first half, 60-14. The Eagles are just running away with it here. The Star Physical Therapy halftime report in about 30 seconds. You're watching thekingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Don't go away. Welcome, everybody, to the Star Physical Therapy halftime report. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Spencer Thompson, along James Shannon. 60-14, as you can see on your screen right now, the score. We don't have the clock going for halftime, but For Lighthouse, they may want to see the clock rolling and just get out of here. But at least for the Eagles, they're just doing exactly what they've been doing throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, Derek Griffin, Kadarius Price, they're just star powers. And I mean, even Braxton Coleman showing up at several times. The Eagles
It was a
just
great run.
on homecoming night and on senior night doing exactly what they do best.
Yeah, I mean, it's been as expected. Like I said, Lighthouse, they're the best 0-4 team I've seen. It's just there's so much star power here tonight. It's been hard for them to compete with it. First half, really first quarter, they were really able to make the plays that they needed to make. And, I mean, they were there in the ball game, just so much firepower. And, I mean, you look at the number of 50-yard plays in this game, especially from Ezell, it's been insane.
Yeah, and for Lighthouse Christian School, they're still struggling to get their first W. Unfortunately, it's looking like with the result in the Mercy Rule, they're not going to get it here. But what can you take from this game? At least, of course, they got 14 points against the Eagles. But what can you take from this game if you're a Lighthouse Lion?
If you're Lighthouse, you've got a baller in Aiden Hooper, and he's only a sophomore. I mean, that's a guy that you can build a team around. Of course, Christian Sharp is only a junior. You're going to lose Dedrick McLean, but Jamari Teague is only a junior. So you've got guys to come back next year and build, whereas you went from last year into this year, and you wondered what kind of team you were going to have. You lost guys like Ricky McDowell. You lost I'm completely drawing a blank.
Michael Bond.
Michael Bond, thank you. But, you lost guys like that, and so you wondered – the question was thrown out there, would Lighthouse even have a team? But obviously they've come out, they've got a group of guys that care, that want to play ball, that are here to take it to these opponents. So I think if you're Lighthouse, yeah, it's tough, but you just look forward to next year. Ezell doesn't have this quarterback coming back. You got to be thankful for that.
Well, we've got a special giveaway to announce in just a moment. Don't go away. We'll be back in about 30 seconds or less. The Star Physical Therapy Halftime Report continues. Welcome back to the Star Physical Therapy Halftime Report. We are a few minutes away and proud to have joining us Mr. Jeff Hooper, the area director for Chick-fil-A, not just of Brentwood but of the Middle Tennessee and rest of the area.
You're overdoing it a little bit, so not quite of Middle Tennessee.
Not quite
Williamson
yet,
County,
but
we'll go
of course.
like that.
So director of Williamson County, and we've got a very special giveaway to announce. We've got right here. 8-Man Extreme is proud to be giving away a year's free worth of Chick-fil-A. We've got 52 cards for a free entree of Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich meal.
It's actually the entire meal.
It's the entire meal, which is either nuggets or chicken sandwich, regular drink, and waffle potato fries, all the good stuff. We're doing a giveaway for a year, and of course, Chick-fil-A proudly going to be the title sponsor this year for the 2019 Extreme All-Star Game. So it'll be the 2019 Chick-fil-A Extreme All-Star Game. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Of course, your son, Aiden Hooper, quarterback and such. What was the big thing you saw in the first half from him?
Well, like you guys already talked about, Lighthouse is a young team that lost a lot of players last year. There's only 2 seniors on the team this year. I think the most important thing is Brian Hollis is doing a really good job of building character in the guys first and foremost. I think there's a lot of things can happen here. The fact that they're not giving up, they're usually in the games at halftime. They usually start running out of steam in the late third quarters and fourth quarter for sure. It's just the sheer numbers game right now. But Ezell-Harding by far is the most talented team that I've seen this year. They are completely on a different level. And the old adage is the character building game, and
Exactly.
they're hard to go through, but they're important sometimes.
Yeah. And of course, for your son Aiden Hooper, likely we'll see him at the All-Star game if he accepts the invitation. We'll send out those invitations in a few
Possibly,
weeks.
we hope so.
Hopefully, he's going to be there.
He's a young kid, so
For sure. But in terms of the Chick-fil-A giveaway, it's proud to have the Chick-fil-A partnership with us and
we're
such.
honored.
But for Chick-fil-A specifically, not just with 8-man football, but for the majority of the schools that are in the conference, of course, they are Christian schools.
Yes.
How important is this for, of course, the marketing goals for Chick-fil-A?
Well, I think it's very important for us, not only for Chick-fil-A, but show the support for 8-man football in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky and where you guys are at. A lot of people may not take the game of 8-man serious, but there are some very talented young men on this field today. There's some guys that will be playing Division II, maybe even Division I football. So what you guys do is what turned me on to get behind you guys. What you guys do for these guys to make them feel important, make them feel part of Friday night, which every high school kid gets to feel. I think it's very important because there's some kids here that may have not gotten to feel that if they weren't part of 8-man football, and you guys taking it online and, again, making them feel like very important. So we appreciate that, and that's what I saw in you guys. And anytime that Chick-fil-A can get behind something that builds character in young men, and we want to support you as much as you're supporting our guys.
Of course, we appreciate the sponsorship with Chick-fil-A and the partnership as well. The giveaway and all the full details will be announced tomorrow on our social media profile. You'll be able to enter and such. It'll be $10 per entry to help support the 8-man football athletes around the conference, as well as 8-man extreme, and free Chick-fil-A for a year. I mean, what's there to complain about that? So again, thank you.
And you don't have to be in Middle Tennessee.
Of course not. It works at every Chick-fil-A location
Chick-fil-A.
in the
from
nation.
all over that you guys are watching, take part in this.
So it'll be $10 an entry. All that those details will be announced tomorrow on our social media and such. Appreciate you coming on the air, Mr. Hooper. Halftime is going to be over in just a few moments. We got about 11, 12 minutes left to go. You're watching Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Start of the third quarter, Spencer Thompson and James Shannon bringing you every bit of the action.
Oh, we got a deep kick on this one.
As the clock continues to run down with the mercy rule, but Lighthouse Christian School trying to get something going, and that's a rush on the right side by Teague.
It was a good return. Too bad it was on the wrong side.
Yeah, you mentioned that while we were up here in the broadcast booth. It looked like it was the wrong side for the return. So it was weird. I guess they didn't have the correct sides for flipping the ball. But I mean, I guess at this point, because of it just running down with the mercy rule, I mean they're just going with the flow. But no,
what a great announcement with Mr. Hooper and with Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah.
Super excited to have him on board. Just everything they bring to the table, everything they bring to the community.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool to be affiliated with such a great organization. That takes stances on issues that we agree with 100%.
I mean, all the great things they do in the community, all they're involved with. But I mean, at the end of the day, they make such great food. At the end of the day, their basic function as a restaurant, it's because they make great food, they're able to rally behind that and support the community. Deep toss, catch is made.
What a catch by
Christian Sharp with the big reception. And it's moments like that where you love instant replay and the functions that it has.
Exactly.
And you look here if it takes a little bit more to load, and Christian Sharp just getting to the outside.
Well, it was a pass right up the middle though, but just a great job getting in front of the defender and hauling that ball in. That's what that's what Hooper needed really. Hooper needed that kind of a throw to get a little momentum behind him, and now he has some momentum built behind him, despite the 60-14.
Despite being down this much, Hooper to the left side. The catch is made by his teammate, Blevins, and the clock continues to run down, of course, with the mercy rule.
Well, it's a great opportunity, too, for some of these Ezell backups and second stringers to get some playing time and to kind of get in the game and get loose, get some experience. Even though it's garbage time, it's still experience, and you want your guys to have that.
Yeah, especially for some of the Lighthouse guys that may not get in as much. You want to get them in, get them some reps, especially with the way the season is going. Maybe you'll find somebody on the bench who can show up as a star. Who knows? But about 9 minutes left to go in the third as the clock continues to run down. Hooper, handoff. It's left side to Teague, slips. Down at about the 16-yard line.
Well, Spencer, we weren't able to do it at the half. So
scoring updates.
What do you say about some scoring updates?
How out of hand is it getting all across the league, James?
In just a second.
You got to update the Tennessee High School football app first.
Which, if you don't have that app, what are you even doing?
What are you doing with your life? Other than watching A-Man Extreme and getting the bell on for YouTube, what else are you doing with your bell life? Certainly probably using
Bell
your bell life
life
for the Battle of the Bell.
Bell life? What?
Yeah, bell life, where you have bells ringing on your phone
my
constantly.
gosh. We'll get you an update right after this play.
So Hooper trying to get something going on 1st and 10. Rolls to the left and surrounded by several Eagles, and that's a big move. Looks like number 70, Alex Valbuena, the sophomore, making the play.
All right, well, here we go, folks. It's Smyrna, almost halftime. Lancaster leads Franklin Christian 46-0 in White House. It's Colts 42, Knights 6. In Springfield, it's South Haven Christian 52, Bowling Green 12. And in Mount Juliet, it's Riverside 47, Tennessee Heat 15.
So every game around the league being blowouts, unfortunately, today. It just so happens that we're at the Battle of the Bell, which is one of the higher blowouts. But it didn't start out that way. The Lions fought back when they were only down, I believe it was 16-6. So they fought back, and they've tried to get some scores on the board. It's just only so much Hooper can do as he tosses it to the left side.
Oh.
Incomplete, intended for Kennard.
Old basketball player trying to get up and get that rebound. Wasn't able to do it. Correction, 54-12 for the South Haven game.
So
Andrew Crawley, junior quarterback for the Patriots, having a great game. That touchdown pass right there.
And again, with that W, it'll essentially secure South Haven's playoff berth. So there's only one spot left up for grabs, and that'll be in between the Bowling Green Warriors and Tennessee Heat. And as we revealed early, we will be at that game because it's the only game happening on that next Saturday, other than the Tennessee School for the Deaf game. But that game, of course, we're going to be at, and it's going to be an amazing shootout for a slot in the playoffs. As Hooper goes to the right side, toss up, and touchdown.
Oh, he got it.
Touchdown for
Looks like Blevins.
Looks like it's Andrew Wallace, actually.
Or Wallace.
It's Andrew Wallace.
Wow, the senior. There you go.
Making the play, and another 6 points on the board.
Now, Wallace is their kicker. Can they let him try an extra point?
Maybe with this amount of time left on the clock, why not?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, not just the time left on the clock, but
That's
with the
what
mercy
I'm
rule.
saying.
You tell me to resist saying that all the time.
Well, I didn't. So what are you going to do about it?
So anytime you say resist it, I'm going to continually say it. That's what I'm going to do about it.
That's fair.
And they're not going to try the extra point here. Hooper is going to head to the right.
What a catch.
Catch made. That's by Blevins. So make that a 60-22 game. So it's a lead of 38 points. The mercy rule is still running down. Time for us to look at the helmet schedule as we're halfway through the third. So you look at the Lighthouse Lions. Of course, they're still looking for their first W. They're 0-4 right now. It's likely going to go to 0-5. They've got a game against the St. Andrews Sewanee Mountain Lions next week, a rematch of the 2017 MTAC Bowl game, and that's going to be down in Sewanee, Tennessee. So that might be an interesting game because both teams looking for their first W, struggling a little bit. So that's likely going to be the at least one team is going to come out of that game with a W.
It'll be a fun one up on the mountain for sure.
And, of course, with Lighthouse, they've only got 2 games remaining on the season. Actually, I believe they did pick up one because they've got 2 bye
They
weeks.
did. So they got Sewanee in 2 weeks. They will actually go to Bowling Green. Bowling Green came to them earlier in the year. So they will go to Bowling Green. Not a conference game that will count.
Yeah.
But just they had a great matchup the first game they played. Last-second touchdown for the Warriors gave them their only win of the season so far. So they'll match up in Bowling Green, and then, of course, Waibawee week against Christian Community.
So that'll be their bye week. They have that in between to the Christian Community game, but that Bowling Green game is not going to count for it's not going to count for their conference play. Because imagine if that did, if they actually got one conference W on that. That would be very interesting.
It'd be crazy. Maybe crazy.
I remember how our former broadcast partner, Isaiah Austin, constantly got upset whenever I made that crazy joke.
He's not here.
Last year, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
He's not here.
In terms of the Eagles, of course, they are unbeaten on the season in conference. Their only loss to the Evangel Lightning. With their W against Lighthouse, of course, they have 2 South games left, but next week, it's a big game against the Christian Community Colts in White House. Then they face off at Franklin Christian. As right side is Kadarius Price getting to the outside, just another touchdown for the Eagles.
Sorry about that, folks. Updating some scores.
Riverside
is pulling, and I mean pulling away.
Just as much as the Eagles are pulling away.
Exactly.
Just the frustration continuing for the Lions. And, for several teams or people who are watching this who may not have seen the Lighthouse Lions before, yes, about 5 years ago, the Lions did win the MTAC championship, and they were conference champions. But a lot has happened in 5 years because of the amount of star power they lost. Of course, last year they had Michael Bond and Ricky McDowell, so they had 2 of their star players. But it wasn't, obviously, they had 1 player that made them ineligible for the playoffs, but 2 players doesn't make up a football team. You have to have everybody, a lot of different factors weigh into the eventual championship. It's really hard to win championships, especially in essentially the SEC of 8-man football.
They missed the extra point, Spence.
I just gave that whole softball for you to start talking on it, and you were talking about the extra point.
They tried the extra point. I love them.
I know you do. Do you have to repeat what I just said?
Did you hear
No,
what I
one
said?
player does not make a whole team.
2. Said 2.
2 players does not make a whole team. I'm glad you know your math.
But I'm glad you know your math too.
I know my math.
No, but
exactly.
what I was
homeschooled.
saying is that for teams and people
Wait,
who
are
are
you
watching,
making a homeschool joke?
for teams and people who are watching this game, 5 years ago, yes, Lighthouse did win the MTAC championship, but a lot's happened in 5 years from the amount of star power they've lost since that 2014 Lighthouse team. And it, of course, begs the question for some people about, is this how Lighthouse is going to be for the next few years? Not necessarily because of their youth.
No, they've got guys that they can build around. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, guys like Hooper and Teague, Sharp. No, of course, Sharp and Teague are juniors. I believe they're juniors. Hooper's a sophomore. So those are guys that you can go from there and just kind of build around, at least for next year, maybe 2 years.
It's one of those tough things to really
Flag
deal with.
and I think we're going to get a horse collar here, Spence.
Probably another horse collar. And we get a call from Carson Dozier. He's had a lot of mic time tonight, that's for sure. Just discussing with his officials, we'll get the call. Or will we? I wonder if we will.
He's finalizing it.
During the run, holding on the receiving team, number 9. That'll be a 10-yard penalty, first down.
So moved. Still a first down for the Lions, and likely they will not get a playoff before the end of the third. But, of course, for the Eagles, they've got a tough schedule ahead of them. Defending conference champions, even though they lost to Lancaster earlier in the season, they still have clinched the number 1 seed in the North.
That's a big benchmark game to kind of truly gauge how they're doing in Tennessee. You know, they played Evangel, Alabama team. You know, it kind of gauges how you're doing in 8-man. Now you get a good gauge of how you're doing in Tennessee.
The end of the third quarter, 12 minutes left, and the Mercy Rule will continue to run. The Eagles just trying to wrap it up on homecoming. Start of the not unmuted yet. There we go. Start of the fourth quarter, and
Oh,
just
man.
a missed catch. That unfortunately that sums up the night for Lighthouse.
That's a kick to the gut right there.
It's just a lot of frustration, but we got a lot of updates, and I believe James Shannon, after updating the Tennessee High School football app, he's got a lot for you around the conference. Of course, they're all blowouts, unfortunately, on the night, but we still got scoring updates.
A lot of situations are clearing up in terms of the playoffs.
Yep. Lancaster is getting a playoff berth. That's finalizing the number 1, 2, 3 seeds unless FCA can pull an upset against the Eagles. But the way the Eagles have played tonight, it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's been a solid game. It's been a solid game. I would be interested to see Lighthouse and FCA. I would be interested to see that matchup.
Yeah, and they're not facing off this week, but, you know, their fall break, neither teams are active. They could potentially
They're
pick up
going
a
out of
game.
town. Oh,
Ooh.
what a catch.
What a catch and what an immediate reaction.
Teague thought it was going to him. It wasn't. It was going to Blevins.
Yeah, Webster made the tackle, and Blevins made the
Blevins
catch.
hauled it right into his gut. You like the way I said gut?
Big move. So, as I was saying earlier about schedules, but
the scoring
situations
updates.
finalized.
All right, at the half, Lancaster leads Franklin Christian 46-0. In the third quarter, Christian Community leads Franklin Classical 48-12. Brooks Pugh just took a kick return. The distance of the field, of course, Christian Community playing on an 80-yard field, so a 79-yard kick return for a touchdown. In the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, South Haven leads Bowling Green 54-20, and in the fourth, it's Riverside 54, Tennessee Heat 15.
As the catch
Nice
is
little
made.
dump off there to Sharp.
Sharp trying to get something going and gets gain of about 6 yards on the play, so it's just getting wrapped up here. In terms of the helmet schedule that was mentioned earlier, they've got that game against Christian Community next week, but they go to Franklin Christian bye week, and then their tough matchup on the road at Smyrna. So this is homecoming. This is their last home game of the year, minus the playoffs. If they can get whether or not they win or lose against Lancaster, of course, assuming they win the FCA game, they're hosting a playoff game regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's they're going to get another game on this field, but
that and something we'll talk about on Extreme Radio on Sunday, a special announcement we've got relating to
exactly.
Special announcement we've got relating to some hosting situations. But at least as it stands right now,
we have the scoop.
The Eagles will host either the wild card round or the semifinals as Hooper scrambles, of course, for the Lions, mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but still playing their heart out. As the catch is made.
Nice connection right there.
Nice connection.
Hooper still balling, still making the throws he needs to make.
Hooper to Kennard.
Kennard getting on there. There you go.
And as they're moving the chains, we'll look at Coach Brian Hollis in his first season as a head coach. He's been with the team. Of course, he's assistant athletic director over at Lighthouse Christian School. He's been with the team for a while. I believe he was part of that 2014 championship team. His first year as a head coach, of course, mostly due to just the numbers and few star players. But Lighthouse, for Coach Hollis, he started out 0 and he's going to start out 0-5 in his first season as head coach.
It's tough. But you bring in. It's like it's like any team when you bring in a new head coach, unless you get like Nick Saban right off the bat, and as much as that hurts me to say, or Bill Belichick, that hurts even more. But unless you get a guy like that, your first year, 2 years, you're going to be building your team, and that's what Lighthouse is doing right now. They're trying to build around some of these young guys.
They just had an offensive play for a gain of 4 yards for 2nd and 6, but yeah, it's been tough for Hollis this season, but of course more to build off of going into next year. So now a second down with about 7.5 and winding down, and looks like that bell is going to stay here at Ezell-Harding.
Question is, where will they put it?
Who knows? It may be on Dr. Judd's desk. He may just leave it there.
Nah.
Dr. Judd's desk, or no, the athletic director. Oh, that's a nice catch. The tiptoe on the
I missed
the
it.
Sideline.
We got the replay. I think I missed it.
I got the replay regardless.
I think the press box monster got us.
May have caught it, but that was a great tiptoe on the right side.
Press box monster got us.
See if we got it.
Nope, didn't get it.
Right side. Yep,
oh,
missed it by
man.
just a smidge. But it was one of those catches you see NFL players make where they make sure both of their feet are in bounds and catch it.
It's Tony Toe Tap.
Tony Toe Tap for sure.
For sure. Tony Toe Tap.
I believe we've got another scoring update.
There's tons of scoring updates. There's 4 other games happening across the league.
Well, you updated a bunch of them. Are they all updated instantly already with the Tennessee High School football?
Well, you'll just have to go and find out.
Aren't we supposed to be giving scoring updates right now? Isn't that our job?
Well, as soon as I finish typing one out.
Okay, good. Because you're saying that you're supposed to you'll just have to find out. But
all right.
What do we got?
Gage Holman with another touchdown for Bowling Green. It's now 54-28. Christian Community still leads 48-12. And there was another score. It's 52-0. Lancaster leads FCA.
During the play, personal foul, number 4 on the defense. That'll be half the distance to the goal. Replay, 2nd down.
So just a little bit
I wonder if
of
there was a little bit of jaw jacking.
no ejection at least, so that's the important thing. But you can get ejected with 2 personal fouls, and clock is at 6:50 right now. And I believe a game has gone final, hasn't it, James? We have our first game going final of the night.
Let me get over to it real quick. Sorry, I'm inputting the score from this Lancaster FCA game where Shipman, or not Shipman, Sherlock just scored. So it's now 52-0. Lancaster leads FCA.
And our first game that's gone final for the night, it's out in Fayetteville.
I'll get it for you just a second.
And a big defensive stand there made by the Eagles to try and prevent another score from getting in. But final game out in Fayetteville.
32-yard touchdown run by Jake Grubelski, 2 minutes left. Icing on the cake. Knights. Well, the game's not in Fayetteville, it's in Mount Juliet. Knights top the heat, 61-15. Dominant performance by Riverside. And since losing to Ezell, it's 5 straight wins.
They're on a hot streak right now. Hot streak of 1,
Yeah,
2,
it is
3,
5
4,
straight wins.
5 straight wins. They have a bye week next week, and then then Riverside travels to Lancaster to try and determine if they'll get to host a playoff
That's going to be a
game or
big
number
one.
3 seed. That's a big game for sure. Toss left side, incomplete. No flag. Looked like Kennard was looking for a pass interference penalty, but nothing doing. So now we look at the newest head coach, one of 2 new head coaches in 8-man football, Dustin McGee. Coming into this year, he was 3-9 overall in 11-man football, but now with their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, it looks like a 5-1 record. He's now 8-10 in his overall coach career, but he's 5-1 in 8-man football, so not too bad for the switch.
He's done a great job rallying the guys and getting them ready to play.
Dozier almost got bumped into on that as Hooper was with the scramble, and left side touchdown.
He faked him out just long enough. They thought he was going to throw it. He's able to pull it off just long enough to get it.
It's just moves like that are why Hooper has kept the Lions in great position to potentially come back in the game.
Well,
But
they're not
it's
a
little bit too
comeback, but
late.
just to prove that they're not going to just lay down.
Well, he's put them in. He's tried to put them in positions like that. It's just a little bit too late on that one. The 2-point conversion attempt coming up. It doesn't look like they're going to try an extra point. And just the time wrapping up here in Antioch, and that bell is going to stay here for the Ezell Eagles. Kudos to them for really going all out on this rivalry, especially. I mean, there goes Sharp and short of the goal line. So 66-28 the score right now. But kudos to them for really going all out on this rivalry and, building it up as much as they have. You know, both teams, other than one personal foul and maybe a little bit of jaw-jacking in the first quarter. I mean, it's really been a good rivalry to see between these 2 teams.
And it's completely understandable, all the activity. Guys are emotional. Some of these guys might even know each other.
Ezell-Harding fans, we reminded you to come out and support Ezell-Harding.
It's been a decent game throughout the beginning. Of course, it kind of got carried away because the Eagles just doing what they do and closing out games and scoring high early just so they can, he can get out of here soon.
Got another final, Spencer. It's South Haven 54, Bowling Green Christian 28. Big win for the Patriots over the Warriors.
Yeah, the Patriots have officially
Little revenge for last year.
They've clinched their playoff berth now, with that as likely the number 2 seed because of their W's. They have that if the Heat can get the W next week against the Bowling Green Warriors, they clinch a playoff berth, and that battle is for a home game in the playoffs against the number 3 seed in the South, likely Riverside. And tipped, Lighthouse can't get the ball. Eagles fall.
I think Lighthouse got it.
They may have.
I think Lighthouse got it, Spence.
Lighthouse managed to get the onside kick recovery there, a little too late on that. And the Lions, with over 2 minutes left and winding down, they'll get the ball.
Still great to be able to get that onside recovery and, just a little going home present.
And there is a timeout called on the field. I believe the Lions got it. So the Eagles call a timeout with 2:04. The Eagles wrapping up here at home. .204. Lions called a timeout, trying to get another score on the board, just trying to rush it down here as Hooper scrambles. Left side catch is made. It's Kennard, avoids a tackle, avoids several Eagles, can't wrap up and get him. He's finally brought down at about the 17-yard line.
Kennard's a big tight end type, and he's a guy that's going to be hard to bring down. Big basketball player, just a good-sized guy, and it's hard to get him on the ground, hard to wrap those legs up. But Lighthouse needs to hurry if they want to try to get one more score on the board just to kind of cushion the loss a little bit. Make it a 100-point game.
They have to make it 100 points. They
just have to score a
34.
touchdown.
Just a touchdown. It's 100-plus combined points. Trying to do what Ezell did to the Lightning a few weeks ago, where they had the highest scoring game, and flag thrown. Looks like we got another penalty on the field, and maybe a late hit here. We'll get the call from Dozier. Probably the last penalty call of the game.
A personal foul against Ezell-Harding.
Looks like Mike Range wasn't getting close there, or maybe he just didn't hit on mute, but personal foul called against the Eagles, and about 60 seconds left.
And guess what? Deuce Bragg threw another touchdown to Devin Hargrove. 20-yard pass. Yes. It's now 62-0. Knights lead the Falcons.
Congratulations to Lancaster on clinching a playoff berth. And
that was Valbuena.
Nice play by Valbuena. Final seconds winding down. The inaugural Battle of the Bell turned out to be a decent game at the start, and the Eagles are going to take it on senior night and homecoming night, their final home game of the year.
Speaking of the bell, do you have your bell on our YouTube channel? Are you subscribed? Do you have the bell on? Do you have the Tennessee High School Football app? added all the 8-man teams, turned the bell on so you get notifications every time one of those teams is playing.
I got to fix my mobile notifications because they're not coming through on my phone. Coming on the iPad, but not on my phone.
Oh, what a
Touchdown.
catch for Wallace.
Wallace with the catch. And a combined 100-point game as the clock winds down. With 10 seconds left, they stop the clock for the 2-point conversion attempt. And the Lions, of course, will take the loss. And going into next week, we got the Mountain Lions. So one team will get their first win of the year, and potentially one team will go winless on the year.
It's always a tough situation when you have to, when you see two teams that are winless go against each other. You want both of them to be able to win and not, those seniors not finish the year winless. But at the same time, it's sports. It's the ultimate meritocracy. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose.
The Eagles,
that was a big word.
The Eagles hoping that they can win it all this year. They're very poised to do that. They just have to possibly get the first round bye to make it
False
easier.
Start.
Before the snap, delay a game on the offense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
Not too good on your penalty prediction there, but you are about 90% on the
I'm about
night.
90% on the night, Spence.
So that hasn't been too bad.
I'll take 90%.
You got eyes just like the Eagles. Perfect vision.
Sounds like you should have your own 15-minute podcast.
Probably. There goes Sharp, left side, 2-point conversion, no good. And, of course, with the mercy rule being 35 points or more, there's only 10 seconds left, so they will have a kickoff, possibly return, or they'll have one more victory formation for the Eagles. But 10 seconds left, and don't want to preview too much because of going down the stretch of the playoffs.
No,
but
so guess what you need to do? Tune into
on.
Extreme Radio this Sunday, 4 p.m. on our YouTube channel. You can get a recap of all the games that happened tonight, get a recap of the TSD game last night. We'll get you a coach's interview, and we'll preview the upcoming slate of games. Only one team on bye. Nope, 2 teams on bye. And that is Lighthouse.
Yeah, South Haven, Lighthouse, and Riverside are
No,
actually
I'm sorry.
the 3.
Lighthouse has a Swanee. So South Haven's on a bye.
That's correct.
And
That's
Riverside.
correct. It's just Riverside.
South Haven and
South
Riverside are
Haven.
on a bye.
There's only 2 teams that will take a break this coming week as they get prepared for the stretch of the playoffs. Of course, everybody will be on a bye week for fall break.
Except for Tennessee Heat and Swanee. Got a Saturday game there, and Tennessee School for the Deaf hosting Florida School for the Deaf.
We can confirm we will be at that Florida School for the Deaf game. That's Saturday.
Excited. I got to go up to the practices last Monday. I was up in the area, had to spend the night. It's like, let's check out practice. It was so much fun. It was a blast. How about this? Ezell on homecoming, senior night, Battle of the Bell. To end the game, they're going to take the knee right there on the logo. It's pretty cool. Kind of poetic.
The Eagles get a great poetic in their inaugural Battle of the Bell.
Unless they pull a Tulane and fake the kneel down.
They're not even going to kneel it down here. Doesn't look like it.
They're going for it.
They're just going to, with 8 seconds
Well, he could
left,
take the snap and kneel it down there where he is.
That is true.
That way he doesn't take the snap on the logo. I got it.
Maybe that's.
Yeah, nope, they're going for it.
They're going for it with the final seconds winding down. Left side incomplete.
Oh, that's
but
it.
That expires the clock. 66-34, the Eagles win the inaugural Battle of the Bell at home on senior homecoming night.
All right, make sure you hop over to Instagram. Spencer's headed down.
Yep.
I'm only talking because he's headed down. Spencer's headed down, and he'll have the coverage of the presentation of the trophy, interview with Coach McGee, and everything postgame on our Instagram. Hop over there right now. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Sunday, Extreme Radio, 4 p.m.